Hello and welcome, guys. Welcome to this week's episode of The Contented Narrative. We're looking at The Magicians of Caprona by Diana Wynne Jones. Now, you'll remember I did the first one, very like Charmed Life, like literally not that long ago, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll get, the second one or the third one for Christmas, like if I get some money for it or whatever. And then my gorgeous husband bought it for me. So this literally was my first book of 2025. I opened the cover and I got it read. And so essentially what happens is you've got Caprona, who's known for its wizardry, and you've got two big families, okay? And they hate each other because there was this rivalry that started. But then under that, you've got this war brewing on the edge of Caprona from like all of Italy basically coming down on Caprona. So the two families are gauging for war, but then you have Tonio and, oh my goodness, I've forgotten her name. Angelica. So my apologies. Tonio and Angelica get kidnapped. And so the two families think so one family thinks it's the other family thinks it's the other family, because they are not talking to each other, so they don't realise that they're both missing a child. And then you find out that obviously, and I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you find out that there's a rogue magician in Caprona that's been deliberately undermining the spells and deliberately making the magic less. So then it's kind of they need to work together to build up Caprona to back where it was. And obviously Tonio, isn't very gifted talent, like magically, but he can talk to the cats. Angelica, every time she talks about a spell or whatever, she'll make a spell, but it'll go wrong somehow, and it's not how she wanted it to. And to be fair, it's a nice, easy book. It's not a 10 out of 10 for me. It's not a 5 out of 5 for me. It's probably like a 3 out of 5, because it was good. It was good. It was enjoyable. It's not as enjoyable as the other ones I've read by her. And obviously Folio Society, absolutely stunning as always. It was a quick read. It was an easy read. But I do feel like it was hard to like the characters. And it's like, I get it. I do. You have your rivalries and everything like that. But it took me back to, I don't know if you guys have watched Klaus. Oh, beautiful animation style, fantastic film. I watch it every Christmas. But in Smearensburg, and you have the two warring families, and you're like, but why? What is the need? And then when they realise that they don't have to war in Klaus, you're like, oh, there we go. Isn't your life easier? And it was kind of with this one, I was kind of a bit pissed, well, a bit annoyed, because I was like, if you'd have just swallowed your pride and stopped pretending like you're the be all and end all, and stop pretending like you're the aggrieved party, and actually listen to the children, like, because obviously Tonio's brother was saying, Paolo was saying, oh, the other family has had a child kidnapped as well, and everyone was like, no, and he was like, I think it's a rogue magician. No, didn't listen to him, didn't want to pay attention to him, and I'm like, for God's sake. So I think I just got mad. Like, I loved the children in it. I think the children were quite enjoyable. But in regards to like the adults and, they just annoyed me a little bit, and I don't think I could quite get into it. I feel like from a children's point of view, if you were reading this as a child, I feel like you might enjoy it a lot more than reading it as an adult, from an adult perspective, because you kind of sat there going, just grow up. Like, do you know what I mean? But sorry about that. But honestly, I did enjoy it. It wasn't an awful book. It was just frustrating at times. Obviously, I'm not expecting you guys to get to Folio Society. As you can see, my little folio collection is growing by the day. But if there are any books that you do have folio, please let me know below, because honestly, I love folio editions. They're absolutely beautiful. My favourite is My Never Ending Story. That's honestly my go-to perfect book of my folio editions. But if there is any books that you recommend, if there's any folio books that you're like, oh, she'll love this one, and I can buy them, it's not like an out of stock limited edition one, please leave it below in the comments. I was asked on an earlier video how I choose my books, and I did obviously say in them that it's I read blurbs, I put it on my list. Like, I'll walk past fairs and bookshops, and they always say don't judge a book by its cover, and I do judge a book by its cover. If the cover grabs me, I'll look at it, I'll read it, I'll put it on my list. But also, if you guys recommend books to me, I will put it on my list, I will read it. My to-read list is now down to 43. I got about 10 books over Christmas. It's now down to 43, so I'm quite proud of that. But honestly, if there's any recommendations, if there's any that you think I'll like, if there's anything at all, please, please, please let me know. Thank you so much for your continued support. It means the world to me that I'm not just talking to an empty screen. But thank you, and remember to always keep it contento.